The Astros wrap up a historic month of June at 19-7, the best in all of Major League Baseball, by taking 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs in a 6-game homestand in which they went 5-1. If it weren't for Lance, and maybe even my presence at the game for that matter, who knows, maybe we could have gone a perfect 6-0, or maybe Lance probably wouldn't have pitched atrocious of an inning like he did. But regardless, it was still a great homestand nonetheless, and we're going to talk all about it. Heyo, Houston, what do you say? Astros are going to beat the Cubs today. That's right. So yes, the Astros took 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs, who were leading the NL Central coming in. The Cubs, I think, are a team that should not be slept on this year. They're my pick for winning the NL Central this year, which should make sense considering that they have Kyle Tucker, a two-time All-Star. Pete Crow-Armstrong is playing on an MVP caliber level. And, I mean, overall, it's the top of their lineup overall seems to be hitting quite well. And, I mean, given the fact that the both two games were blowouts, or kind of, I guess. I mean, Saturday was more of a blowout than Friday's game, if I'm being honest. But the offensive powerhouses were showcased in the first two games from both sides. And then the pitching was more or less showcased on Sunday's game. But let's talk about the series. First things first, let's dive right into an overdue injury update on Yordan Alvarez. He, as well as Chas McCormick, will be going down to West Palm Beach to start rehabbing. But so far, Joe Espada has not been, offered any information as far as the steps beyond that. But Dana Brown had also stated on the team's pregame radio show earlier this morning that Yordan could rejoin the team in LA, although him being added into the lineup or onto the roster for that matter is probably not gonna happen. But, like I said, we will see. But diving straight into the series itself, starting here in this first game, it was Yonir Diaz in the Astros who got engaged against Cade Horton early in the bottom of the third inning. But the Astros had tagged him for 4 runs, and it was capped off by a 3-run bomb by Yonir Diaz to put us up 4-0. 1 inning later, Cam Smith, the former Cubs prospect, had hit another 3-run home run onto the train tracks to make it 7-0 Astros after four innings. The Cubs would get on the board in the top of the 5th against Colton Gordon. Or not Colton Gordon, but Brandon Walter. I'm confusing Colton Gordon and Brandon Walter like so easily, man. I have no idea why. But Brandon Walter was absolutely amazing in this game. He only allowed that one earned run that was hit off of him was in the 5th inning by Nico Hoerner, which also was a home run. Ultimately, like I said, that was the only run that the Cubs would score off of him over 6 innings of work and getting 5 strikeouts in that mix. Overall, very good night for him. Ultimately, the Astros would go on to win the game by this final score of 7-4. The Cubs would chip away at this lead late with 2 runs in the 7th to make it 7-3 going into the 9th inning. But going into the 9th inning here, the Astros were hoping to give Josh Hader a night off, and given how the score was and it was going to be a non-save situation, that was exactly what they had done. And it was Bennett Sousa who had already pitched in the 8th inning and struck out the side. And he was going to be hopefully getting a 6-out save, but just could not quite do it, as Matt Shaw would keep the game alive on an RBI double to make it 7-4 Astros. And unfortunately, Joe Espada had to go to Josh Hader to seal the deal. But fortunately, he only needed 3 pitches to get the final out of the inning. And with that save, that now gives him 23 consecutive saves to start the season, which is a new Astros franchise record. Absolutely stellar. I'm so excited, even though, again, he only needed 3 pitches. And coming in, of course, the tying run was in the on-deck circle, which that is one of a couple of instances where if a closer comes into the game in that circumstance, then it is a safe situation. So, I mean, in a way, it kind of worked out. But like I had said, dude, 23 straight saves to start the season. Absolutely historic for him. So, overall, like I had said, pretty fun night at the ballpark. It got a little bit dicey at the end with the Cubs chipping away. But, I mean, to our pitchers' credit, this Cubs offense can score a lot. And they certainly would score a lot in Game 2, as they scored 12 runs total off the Astros, 7 of which came in the 4th inning off of Lance McCullers Jr., who I got to see pitch. I mean, it looks like he was keeping us in this game through 3 innings, and the Astros would take the lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning with another Cam Smith home run, his 2nd home run this series. But those 2 runs would be the only 2 runs the Astros would score in the entire game, as in the top of the 4th inning, Lance McCullers would just absolutely implode. It started with him giving up back-to-back home runs to Michael Busch and Nico Hoerner to give the Cubs a 3-2 lead. Ian Happ would then single to bring home Matt Shaw to make it 4-2, and then at that point, I was hoping that Joe Espada would pull him out, because given the fact that Kyle Tucker was coming up to the plate, but he didn't. And well, the all too predictable Kyle Tucker home run would put the Cubs up 7-2, and ultimately they didn't look back at that point. They didn't look back once they took the lead that inning to begin with. Overall, it was Tucker who got revenge in this game for the Cubs against his former team. And I mean, overall, dude, I spent a ton of money to just to see this crap. And I mean, I'm still a little bit ticked off that I just wasted all my time just to see us put up a performance like this. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. I did get the Jose Altuve Silver Slugger bobblehead, which I am going to unbox for you guys shortly after this video ends. Isaac Paredes did get us on the board with a home run late in the bottom of the 8th inning, and for our troubles, and to our credit, it did strike the foul pole, so we do get some free chicken for our troubles, I guess you can say. So not a bad night, I guess, and all things considered. But you know, if you look at the score, I guess, you know, it probably was a bad night. But diving straight here into the series finale, this was a very great pitcher duel. Framber Valdez against Jameson Taillon of the Chicago Cubs. It was Jameson Taillon who honestly looked locked in. Both pitchers were honestly locked in pretty good. It was, I mean, the Astros did get plenty of hits. Both pitchers got into trouble time and time again. But it was James Taillon on his 107th pitch of the game to Jose Altuve. He had struck him out twice in 2 ABs leading up to this. But it was Altuve who took him deep for a 2-run blast to put the Astros up 2-0, and that eventually knocked him out of the game. But ultimately, those were the only 2 runs that were scored over the entire game. And then Josh Hader, who like I had said, had already set the new franchise record for 22 straight saves to begin the season. I don't know what number I had said before, but I mean, if I had said 21 or something like that, that was my mistake. That was his 22nd save of the season. But ultimately, he would get save number 23 of the season to preserve the 2-0 shutout for the Astros, their 3rd shutout this homestand, to cap off once again a historic month of June at 19-7. Going into July's action, which it will kick off against the Colorado Rockies. Stop one of a 2-game road trip, so I'm excited for that. I mean, I sense a trap in Colorado. Colorado has been on a bit of a heater recently. Although to start the season, they got off to such a historic start, they're on pace for one of the worst seasons by an MLB franchise in MLB history. Like I said, dude, I sense a trap. Because if there's one thing that the Astros are known to have been doing over the last couple of years, it's that they play down to the level of their competition. We absolutely cannot do that. Obviously, I mean, that was an issue also against the White Sox. They took 2 out of 3. They took 2 out of 3 against us in Chicago. We struck back, took 2 out of 3 there. But even then, we had dropped the opener in that series. I mean, hopefully that's not a bad sign of what's to come. But, you know, like I said, I'm just going to hope that we can take 2 out of 3. A sweep would be nice. But honestly, I mean, if there's one thing the Astros are certainly known for doing, sometimes it could just be that they're lethargic to sweeps, I guess you can say. Maybe we win the first 2 games, and knowing we've taken the series, we rest our guys on the day off. And speaking of resting guys, I did forget to mention, Jeremy Pena in the series opener was hit by a pitch on his ribcage. Imaging came back clean, but unfortunately he did not play in the final 2 games of the homestand against the Cubs. I mean, it would not shock me if Joe Espada would want to give him the day off against the Colorado Rockies. But, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that he plays at some point during this series against the Rockies. Because, I mean, if we're out with him against the Dodgers, then, I mean, I think we're going to be screwed. Anyway, guys, before I wrap up this video, we're going to go ahead and unbox the Altuve Silver Slugger bobblehead. This bobblehead actually looks really cool. So, you know, there's nothing really on the sides here. Just some photo shots of Altuve holding the Silver Slugger award bat. And also it being signed on the backside here. So it was pretty cool. I mean, I did arrive Saturday's game early enough to get this, so, I mean, I guess it was worth it. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive right into this, hopefully without breaking anything. Oh, let's rip the box. That's okay. Okay. I dropped something down here. Yep, it was this little thing. This actually is one of those like animating graphics of Altuve. I think it's a little. You can kind of see it changing on the camera there. Like depending on what angle you look at it, you get different angles of him. So that's pretty neat. But here's the bobblehead itself. And it's actually kind of neat. I mean, whenever they have these bat bobbleheads like this, they actually kind of, you know, bundle them separately, I guess. It's also really neat that, you know, that there are 7 of these silver bats right here to commemorate the fact that he's won the award 7 times in his career. And looking at them a little bit more closely, you can kind of see it. I don't know if it's hard to see just because I have a ring light here. But like you can kind of take a closer look at each of these bats, and they're engraved with each of the years throughout his career that he has won it. So that's pretty neat. But here is the bobblehead in all of its glory with the bats attached. This actually looks really, really neat. I'm quite impressed by this, to be honest. So, you know, pretty cool. So pretty cool stuff from Altuve and what he's done in his career. The hit that he got today now puts him 1 shy of tying Jeff Bagwell for 2nd in Astros franchise history. As much as I would like to have seen him hit this homestand, unfortunately, that was just not meant to be. I would imagine he's probably going to hit it on the road trip. I would certainly like him to hit it in LA or so, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and also glad to see you guys have stuck around to the end to watch me unbox the Altuve bobblehead. So so hopefully we can pick things up on the right foot in Colorado. I'm a little bit worried with how this series is going to go, to be honest, because like I said, it's probably going to be a trap. But, you know, like I said, hopefully we can figure it out there. So, and I mean, for our credit, Astros fans travel well to Colorado, so it should be a fun series. But anyway, guys, that's going to do for this video. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you want to watch anything else, click these cards here above my shoulders, Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next one.